Kam jirtan maqaan kiyya Kadir Hussein. How are you guys? My name is Kadir Hussein and I'm a fourth year student here studying chemistry. So I am from Oromia, which is a southern state in Ethiopia. We are the size-wise the biggest state slash the most populous state in Ethiopia. Oromo comprise about 40% of the overall Ethiopian population. Like I said, I am from Oromia, but I have also lived in Nairobi, Kenya before coming to the United States. The main reason that families come from Ethiopia to here is for better opportunities in terms of economic as well as educational reasons. And I've, I've been able to benefit from that because now I'm able to attend a university here within Minnesota. The biggest challenge is that now we have families in two continents, one in Africa and one over here in North America. So the distance that tends to uh, it does have its challenges, but overall we are still able to communicate with each other, stay in touch, and provide support, whether it is monetary and or just staying in touch. I come from a very large family, and we are all living in the suburb at this point. But most of my family members are very close knit, and who I consider family members are my immediate family members, as well as people from like same tribes or we've grown up together. And speaking of growing up, since I lived all my life with my cousins, we're pretty much like brothers and sisters. Just like any culture, there are gender roles. Generally, the men are seen as breadwinners, and then the women are the caretakers. But that doesn't mean that a woman can't go outside and work, make money to provide for the family. Um, and usually, the reason that agriculture is the biggest form of income for families, and lands are passed down from generation to generation. So that's why when a woman gets married to a man, they generally move to where the man family lives. So in that sense, they have a land to start out to support their family. So at least in within Minnesota, education is highly respected and expected from the children because the parents always remind them like the reason we came here is to get education and then provide have a financial stability for the family. So in that sense, everyone is expected to go to college and not just go to college and eventually the most popular three options are become a doctor, engineer, or a lawyer. So, but other than that, in terms of dating, dating is not common back home. I'm not sure if that has changed, but now, but for the people that are in the United States, it just depends on uh, what kind of religion they practice and how conservative or liberal they are. Some families don't allow dating, some are okay with it. Oh, marriage. So in terms of marriage, so marriage, there's the traditional way and also the American way. For the most part, the guy is supposed to go ask the family for the permission, and there is, and the whole, so the family, the guy's family will take like gifts with them and to go talk to the family about if it's possible to marry because when you marry you're marrying each other's family pretty much, and if he gets approval then the marriage goes forward, and also so also they can have arranged marriage can happen as well. I haven't seen it that often nowadays, but it traditionally it did happen. if a man likes a woman, I think it does happen to a lot of cultural groups. The man, if he sees a woman that he likes, he can, in a way, kind of kidnap her and make her stay at her house till, and then work it out with their family to get married. Yeah, and his friends are supposed to help him in the process. Yeah. So, when it comes to culture, I think the biggest thing is a sense of respect because that is, if you don't, because you generally live in one area for so long that it is, you have to get the respect from people. But even more so, you have to respect others. And the elders get the utmost respect no matter what. And they have a lot to say in the community and decision making process. Whenever there's a dispute, you don't go to the court, you go to them first, and all the elders will sit down, and pretty much they're like the judge. They sit down and listen to both, whoever is, there's like a fight going on, they will tell their sides, and then they'll make a decision. Um, if that doesn't work, then you can go to the normal court. So everyone in my family practices Islam, and for that, it kind of, my culture and religion kind of balances each other out, because it has similar values in a sense that respecting others, respecting yourself is important, and also gives you a structure on how to live your day-to-day lives. So able to approach things from a different perspective from my peers, and also um, be an active participant in making our communities better. Because where I come from is a very interdependent communities. You're expected to help other people, not just for yourself. And that's why, like I said, farming is the main source back home. So that means you can't do all the farms by yourself. But if you work with others, they can help you farm your land, and then you can help them out. So it speeds up the process. So in that sense, I kind of see my roles on campus as helping others, and hopefully somebody else will help me out too when I need it. Well, in terms of religion-wise, it's there's a month of fasting during Ramadan, and then there are two main holidays are Eid right away after Ramadan, and then there's one that comes a few months after that. Those are the two main religious-based holidays, and then Fridays are the most important day of the week. So that's when you go to the Friday prayers and to the mosque and pray. But as a student, sometimes that's a little more challenging. Um, but for cultural-wise, especially the ones that practice the traditional religion, they Irecha is something that it actually happened in the summer, and it's pretty big among those people that practice traditional religion. In terms of food-wise, if you want to be a vegetarian or if you're a meat lover, you need to come eat some Oromo/Ethiopian food because it can accommodate both um, person. The most known food is the bedena or injera, depending on the language. So it's a flatbread that is very popular and is commonly eaten almost every day. And traditionally, American people tend to like it as well. It's kind of sour, but and it's better to store at room temperature. So you eat dinner with rafu or misir, and then there's also meat called tips. So there's specific way of preparing them. It's main tips is where is meat pretty much with some vegetables. Um, that's generally made for a special occasion or if there's like a guest over. And then rice is very common, and pasta as well. So there's some traditional and as well as American. And then there's marca or is yeah, I don't know the English term, but it's very good. If you want to try it, let me know. For breakfast wise, we tend to tea and coffee is very common, especially when there's a guest when guests come over. We don't drink it just to get through the day. They tend to drink it when there's like for when there's guests over or when there's like workers taking a break from farming and stuff. And speaking of coffee, actually coffee was originally found in Oromia, and so and then eventually expanded from there to Arabia and then crossed over to Europe from there to South America, and now it's all over the world. I think the most important symbolic thing is pretty much the Oda tree, which is a very big tree that is actually on the Oromia flag. Pretty much, that's where the elders they used to practice the Gada system. So that's where the decisions are made. That's where people meet under to discuss important things, or just and also the tree symbolizes a sense of it provides you life and shade. So as in like a source of food, not life. Trees you can get fruits from them, but also if you need to get away from the sun, you can still live under the or at least enjoy your time under the tree. So I think I was 11 or 12 when I came to the U.S. My first food encounter was burgers. Uh, that was what I got on the flight from Kenya to England. Uh, Not my first choice of food. I think I only took one bite. After that, I never wanted to eat that food, but apparently that changed over time. And when we were in England, we stayed in the airport because it's from Africa to here is a very long flight. I just thought that was it. Like you're in the airport. The airport itself is so big that I'm like, whoa, it's just one city. But then I found out that United States is a lot bigger than that as well. Because I went from England to LA. Once we got to LA, I lived in Seattle. When we were in Seattle, my one of my brother and I took a walk. So like it's our first month in the United States. We got sick and tired. Like when you first come, you can't really do much, right? So you just sit at home. And we were like, you know what? Let's go take a walk and see the neighborhood. And then within the first block, we see like this group of guys, like all gangster looking, big jackets and smoking. We're like, oh crap, we're already gonna get shot. It's just like that's what you see in American movies, like generally when you pass a group of guys, they're gonna start trouble or something like that. American movies are very popular abroad. So my perception of the US is like everything that you see in the movie is gonna happen here. And I think that's the same thing that people in other countries think. It's like you go to a baseball game and then there's people fighting in an airplane and then the money start falling down. All you have to do is just grab them, or people forget a bag of money in there on the bus, or just like uh, typical American movie where there's like crimes or yeah, movie actions. But that didn't happen once I got here. Just even though we all have different skills, different abilities, and always never forgetting where we come from and staying connected to our roots is very important, and also having a space to come and interact, discuss, and learn and move forward as a community is something that everyone needs. In a sense, that is something that our community hopefully can continue working on that, improving. Thank you. Galatoma Nagiambula Nageti.